Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I am about to introduce a beautiful photographer named Rachel, and she has been doing photography for a long time. And I'm excited to interview her, not just on her creative process, but how she built a full-fledged photography business. And we're just going to dive into her whole story, and hopefully it'll be an encouragement to anyone, no matter their industry, but especially photographers. So Rachel, thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, well, thank you guys. I've honestly been a fan of what you're doing with your marketing and branding stuff. So I feel like we're on the same wavelength with everything. And I
Yeah,
love that.
awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, before this meeting, I was just telling Rachel, I was like, we're huge fan. Me and Tim, the other co-studio owner, we are huge fans of Rachel's work. Like Rachel, you shot for our families, like for weddings, for baby announcements and stuff, and we're just genuine fans. So can you tell us a little bit of how you got into photography? Like, was there a moment that sparked it all for you?
Yeah, I mean, it happened a long time ago because I'm a lot older than what everyone thinks. But I honestly started as an artist. Like, I paint, I draw, I do a lot of that stuff. I think I was around maybe 15 when I picked up on those little, early 2000s point and shoot cameras.
Yeah.
Ever since then, like, I haven't looked back. Like, I've used my dad's old photography gear because when he was my age and younger, he used to dabble in photography a little bit. So I think that's where I get it from. But my inspiration was honestly, it was to me another medium, almost like an oil painting or a watercolor or something like
Yeah.
that. So when I picked up that little point and shoot, I'd run it through these online editing programs. I would sit there for hours doing that. Like, I do photo shoots for my friends, and back then they looked horrible. So I, I guess that's the
Of course.
beauty of it. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Where I started, and I honestly enjoyed the shooting, but also the editing, even if it started so humbly like that.
Mhm.
And then after that, I got into film, and I was really young, like maybe 17, 18.
Wow.
But I bought a film camera off eBay. It was $1.50, so I won the bid. It was broken. I honestly still have that camera, and I still use it on my shoots
That's
for film.
amazing.
And that propelled me more into professional photography, like
Wow.
the film speed, aperture, all of that stuff. And I feel like that really taught me the fundamentals and basics, and that I got hooked after that. So
That's incredible. What is it about photography that, like, out of any form of art that you could do that really just inspires you to not just do it as a hobby, but also, like, professionally?
that that part can be a little hard, but I think it's the magic in it. And I try and
Mhm.
bring that even, to professional paid shoots. Like, I love knowing when I got that shot. And I think that inspires me to see my client or even a product like feel and look beautiful. Like, that's my
Mm.
main goal, especially, hearing from clients, oh, thank you. You made me look pretty. And like, that's what I want to do. And I think that just
Mhm.
keeps me going, even when I want to hang it up sometimes. Okay, he have people say, "Oh, you got my angles, you got it," like, every time, and that's kinda what keeps me going with it. And the light, I love light, like, that's my biggest thing. Like, I'll even sit in my apartment, just look at the way light plays on the floor, I'm like, that's really
You're like,
pretty."
"Click, click."
Yeah, it could be the most random or stupid thing, but I think I just see it differently, and when
Mhm.
I photograph, that's all I see. I have to put myself into that mode, but it inspires me. So it's
Definitely.
people and, like, the light, and it's my art. It's almost like another
Mhm.
form of painting to me.
Definitely. Oh, that's so beautiful, and I can totally see that too, just in your style, like,
Thank you.
so your website for everyone listening is obscurastudios.com, and then you have a beautiful Instagram page, and it'll take 2 seconds for anyone scrolling to see what you're talking about with the light,
Thank
and
you. I'm glad that's obvious.
it's very obvious, yeah, and I remember you shooting for my one of my sister's weddings, Anna, and the photos were just magical, like, it was a country wedding, and there was a tent set up, but
Love
you
that.
really just, like, it was like you captured, like, the atmosphere and, like, what
Yes.
everyone was feeling on that day, and I think anybody can point and shoot, like,
Yeah.
a camera, but, like, can you capture, like, the essence of that
Yeah.
day? And I just couldn't imagine, like, another
Oh, thank
photographer
you.
doing that.
That's what I love to do. I think if you capture that emotion, it
Mhm.
always translates. Like, you have to actually get in there and feel it. You can't just, snap, snap. Like, you have to look at it as a piece of art. Even someone's wedding, it's a beautiful day, so why not just bring those emotions into your art? So,
Mhm.
I love it.
No, it's amazing. Are you formally taught or are you more self-taught, would you say?
Mostly self-taught. I don't think I ever took a class in photography at all. Maybe I think there was, like, an intro one in college, but it was an audio, video, like, visual class.
Oh, okay.
But I had no professional teaching in photography. I just learned it myself.
That's amazing. Was there any, like, influences for you, like, when you were starting out, or do you have someone even today you're like, "I love their style," or, "I love how they capture, these special moments?"
I didn't have too much influence growing
Mhm.
up. I would just, scroll the internet, YouTube, and look up, photographers I'd like. I also read a lot. So I think a lot of it comes from all the old photography books I have. I used to
Yeah.
just sit there and read through art books and photo books, and like I'm a very visual person.
Yeah.
Sometimes just seeing other people's work. Like there's one, can't remember her name. She's a street photographer. I think it's Lisette Modell, maybe. Her
Okay.
stuff is stunning. Like, that's one I would just sit there and read her books and look at all of her photos she did. So if you have a chance, check her out.
Yeah.
Beautiful work.
That's beautiful. You mentioned earlier about like a little bit of your style and like
Mhm.
finding that light and everything. And so I wanted to explore your artistic style and like how that developed because I'm sure how you shoot now is very different. Your editing process is different than when you were like, a young girl. But how would you describe your photography style in a few words?
I think probably emotional, a little nostalgic,
Definitely. Yeah.
light and dark. Because I feel like a lot of things is just there. It's in your face. Like, I want to show both sides. Like, we can't
Hmm.
have light without dark and shadows. And to me, that makes the light 10 times more beautiful. So if you
Right.
go in and look at my work, I think you'll see a lot of that. It's almost like those old paintings. I can't remember his name too, but it's like I forget, Renaissance painter, but he would use those light and dark in his painting. It's not Michelangelo, it's another guy. I just can't remember his
Da
name.
Vinci, Caravaggio.
Caravaggio, I think
But
that's the one, yeah.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
he used a lot of that technique. I love it. Like, I just love seeing, like, that little pool of light on somebody's
Mhm.
face or on someone's hand or on a product or drink or food or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing. Like, I pull a lot from that, and hopefully
That's
it shows in
beautiful.
my work.
No, definitely. I could see that connection. I was recently in Italy and Caravaggio is like everywhere. And what a beautiful painter. And he really worked with light a lot. And that was just one of his stylistic choices. But then there's also this moodiness in his
Yes,
paintings and stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful. Definitely one of my top favorite painters and everything.
fantastic.
Yeah, and do you remember, like, a time when you first felt like you found your style, when you're like, "Oh, yeah, this is
Yeah.
this is the kind of vibe I
I
wanna."
didn't have, like, a one day it happened thing, it was
Yeah,
probably mostly over the last few years, which is pretty recent, like, I'm to the point now where I'll just say no to somebody if it's not what I can do for them with my work. I mean, I've worked this is kinda going off a little bunny trail, but I've been asked to do, like, lighter and brighter photos for
yeah.
people before, which is okay, like, they're hiring me, I wanna make sure I get their vision. But I am not good at that, and that's okay, and I think I realized one time when someone asked me for that, I was like, "I'm not that kind of photographer." Like, I truly deep down know what I create, and it's not that. And that was a
Mhm.
few years ago, and I think that's when I realized, like, hey, this is my style. I don't need to budge from that for anyone, which
Hmm.
I will, depends, but very, very rarely. So I
Yeah.
think that's what kind of pushed me into, hey, like, just be yourself. Keep creating. Nobody has to understand it. Nobody has to want it, but it's me. And I'm not
Yeah.
going to change from that.
Definitely. Yeah. When you mentioned the word like magic earlier, like the word that came to mind for me for your style is like ethereal. Like it has this like almost otherworldly like vibe to it. And it's just it's beautiful. And I'm like it's kind of like how you wish the world looked, you
Yes.
know? And
Yes.
yeah, there you go.
That's exactly, you put it into words. I'm not good with words.
Yeah, it's well, I'm a fan, so and I've looked at so many photos and I'm like, yeah, like and it's almost like even if I wasn't at that shoot or in that moment, it's almost like you help people to transition to that
Yes.
place.
Good. I hope so.
Yeah, and there's like a lot of storytelling that's, going on in that
Thank you.
process. Before we talk about like your actual creative process and like the art of shooting, I wanted to ask if like because we were just talking about style.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to photographers
Yeah.
struggling to find their own style?
Yeah.
Any advice that would be helpful for them?
Oh my gosh, yeah. One for me was try anything at first. I mean, you'll know when something's not right for you.
Yeah.
Try the light, bright, all this gear, artificial light. That's not me. Yes, I can do it, but I hate it. Like, I honestly loathe it. Some
Yeah.
people are geniuses with it, but I am not, and that's
Yeah.
okay. I think it's important, like, somebody might try that type of photography and love it, and I know people who do,
Mm.
but I think you just have to try things and you'll know what you like. Like, for me, I love harsh, direct light, natural light. I do like some direct flash here and there, but, like, that's what I truly love because when I play with that, I feel happy. And I think people need to try and, like, you don't have to fit molds for anyone, which I
No.
think a lot of photographers do. So
Mhm.
just do what you like. I mean, we have
Yeah.
enough of the same, so just be yourself and enjoy it. Don't be scared to put your work out there at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I could see I'm not a photographer, but I could see how if you're trying to get a client
Mhm.
especially and you're wanting to
Yeah.
pay your rent, like there can be this temptation to
Yeah.
settle or, to step outside of your normal style, but and that's okay, like,
Yeah,
because every shoot comes with lessons and,
exactly.
if you're getting paid, you're getting paid, but I think as you develop and grow,
Yeah.
there's going to be you can become more choosy and be like, "You know
Yes.
what? That's not my style, that's not my niche, I don't wanna
Exactly. It's like
I
I
don't
don't,
wanna do that."
because you know
So
that you're not gonna do your best work if it's not something you enjoy either.
mm,
There's been times, and I still do it. It's like, "Hey, I have bills to pay. Yes, I'll do this event or I'll do this."
mhm,
That's okay, because
yeah,
like you said, there's lessons in that too, and they're fun sometimes, so
yeah. Yeah. And also too, like, even the clients can be so great, like, even if, like
no.
that
Sometimes
it's like,
they're the
"Okay."
best.
Yeah, definitely. I'd love to hear about, like, the art of shooting for you, like, your
Yeah.
creative process and, like, kinda how you shoot, how you
Mhm.
think, how you see, like, we
Yeah.
keep talking about that, but, like, more walk us through, like, your actual process, like, from concept to shoot and, like, how
Mhm.
do ideas for these photos come to you specifically?
Yeah. So generally, if it's a client creative portrait shoot, a lot of times they'll come to me with their idea. A
Mm,
lot of times it's not completely fleshed out though, and they're just like, "Oh, here I have a few pictures. I just want it to kind of look like this." Or I have these props. This is what I want. I'm like, "Okay." So I usually take what they give me and we email back and forth for a while, which isn't my favorite part, but I do it.
I don't like emails either.
No, I sit down and do them, but
Yeah,
well, usually after that, like, once we agree on a vision, location, I put mood boards together. Like, I know a lot of photographers do that, but I make it collaborative because because I'm like, yeah, this is gonna work for you. And then they'll be
Mm,
like, I have this that works. And we usually mesh them together.
that's
And I'll
nice.
be honest, I don't go into a lot of shoots with these strict rules ever, unless I have to. But for the creative ones, like we just take our stuff to the location, studio,
Yeah.
nature, and we just go. And I feel like it just flows. And it's hard to describe. It's almost like when you're painting. If you're an artist, you get in that zone. It's the same way with photography for me, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'm
that
more of a
sounds
DIY. I'm not like your technical, typical photographer. Sometimes I hate that I'm not. I am so DIY. Like I'll use prisms. I'll shoot through like plastic bags.
I
I've
love
even
it.
put Vaseline on filters and I shoot through that. So I'm very experimental, I
That's
guess. I know
amazing.
what I want, and that makes it work for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's because like, it sounds like you're leaving room for improvisation versus
Yeah.
just coming in and being like, "No, I have to stay rigid,"
Yes.
and then that also then speaks to
Yeah.
this, like, creative the word ethereal is coming again,
Yes.
look in these photos and these concepts and stuff, and I'm thinking that's why, like, the clients that seek you out are the
Yeah.
ones that seek you out because they're like,
Yes.
"No one else is doing that," you know?
That's
And
what I
we
love.
yeah, like, we're in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, everyone, and the amount of photographers in this town is at an
A lot
all-time
of
high. Oh my goodness, there's so I feel like everyone I meet is a photographer of some
I know.
sort, and it's great, but I'm like,
Yeah.
there's only a few that I'm like, are at this, like, top tier, and you're
Yeah.
definitely one of
Oh my
those.
gosh. See, I don't see myself like that at all. I
I
should
do.
probably flip that a little bit. Sometimes I'm like, oof, like, I need to get out of my head because, at the end of the day, it's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Mhm. I've had
definitely.
busy seasons and slow ones. Slow ones, I go get a part-time job or I do something else. And
Yeah,
that's okay. Like, I think, photographers need to realize that it's not
definitely.
easy.
Yeah, I mean, and we're gonna talk in a little bit about, like, the business side of photography, because like, that's its own. Because there's like, Tim and I, we talk so much about this, about how, like, there's
Yeah.
the skill set of your actual work, and then
Yeah.
there's the actual marketing of your work, and
No.
most creatives are like, "I just wanna take pictures," or "I just want to
Create
paint," or "I just wanna play piano," or "I just wanna make
Yes,
candles. I don't wanna market myself."
hard.
But before we get into that, what gear do you shoot with? Like,
Yeah.
and how much does gear actually, like, matter to a photographer?
Um, I shoot with Sony cameras mostly.
Mhm.
I'm so bad with gear that I don't even remember the name on the one. It's like an A7R4
It's
or
okay.
something.
That's okay.
That's horrible. I shouldn't. My other one is honestly a 15-year-old Sony A900, and I love that thing. I cannot give it up. I don't know what it is, but I have this connection with it.
That's so
I'll
great.
usually bring both to my shoots because I like the look the one gives me, and then I like the look of the other one. So that's
Yeah.
how weird I am.
No, I love it. You can get attached to it, like, you feel
Yes,
comfortable with that gear.
exactly, and it almost has, like, compared to newer models, like, a film-like quality. It's still super, high res and everything, and I love it. It's just my baby.
That's awesome.
That's mostly what I use for gear, and then I use my
Mhm.
prisms. I love a lot of those stylized filters too, like the little starburst ones, the hazy ones. A lot of those you can DIY. You don't have to spend $100 on them. Just
Yeah.
have
Yeah, it doesn't have to be expensive. I think too, like, what's nice for photographers is, like, you don't have to start out with the most expensive
exactly.
camera, like, you could just really just start off with something cheap. Maybe it's
Yep.
$1.50
Yeah.
off of eBay, situation, and create
Yeah.
beautiful things for people, and then, over time, you could upgrade, but if you find something that works, just stick with
Just
it.
use it. Exactly. And I think that's the biggest, misconception. Yes, it's expensive, but there's ways. I mean, I think you should get a good camera eventually.
Yeah.
But you don't have to break the bank. Like, make sure you have good, like, external hard drives, a good computer to edit, memory cards, and a solid camera, and you'll be fine. Like, you have to look at it as an art tool, I guess, because your vision
Mm,
is technically like the medium. You know what I mean? It's like a
mhm.
camera isn't going to make your art for you. Like
Yeah.
you have to do that at the end of the day. I think people need to reframe it like that a little. You can use
Mm,
anything. I can use my phone and take a great picture.
right. Yeah. No, that's a really beautiful way of putting it, because I think I could see how some people would think like, "Oh, well, if I don't have the best
Yeah.
equipment, then I can't tell a compelling story."
Mhm.
And that's not true, like, and to your point,
Exactly.
using, like, an iPhone
Yeah,
is
they're
you
great.
can yeah, you can take some really nice
Oh,
photos
no,
and
I have too.
yeah. So Tim, my business partner, he is also a photographer, as you know,
That's a
and
good one.
yes, and he had a request, and I said, "Oh,
Yeah.
don't worry, I'm gonna ask her." But we wanted to know about the magic of your editing and, like, your post-processing
Yeah,
insight, and just
sure.
kind of reveal how editing shapes the final vision. So, how
Oh,
much of your final image is captured in camera versus,
yeah.
achieved in post-processing?
I'd say it's probably like 50-50. Like to make sure my exposure and everything's the way I want it on camera. And I hate editing things out. So I try not to do any of that. Like most of my stuff's pretty raw, unedited, except for my colors, like film grain. So I'd say probably like 50-50, like on camera and post. Like I love editing too.
Yeah.
So I tend to shoot darker on camera, which I don't, maybe I'm nuts, but like when I run it through post, I think I get like more depthy shadows
Mhm.
and like richer colors. Like, so I shoot a little darker than most people, but for me, it works. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But then the other thing, like I try and keep my styles consistent. So I have a lot of my editing colors and styles I save as my presets, and then I just apply those and then work with them. So I want to
Yeah.
make sure like my stuff looks like me. So there's
Mhm.
been, I think I have a preset I made years ago and I still use it. Like I use the same ones that I made from like
Wow.
probably 8 years ago. But then like I know there's a lot of misconceptions with presets too. Like I each photo's different. Like, even if you do apply that or apply the same colors, same tones, like, you still have to sit there and adjust it. Like, I don't know if everyone does that, but I'm very manual with
Yeah.
my post, like, my editing. That's why it takes me forever to edit one gallery. I'm like, "No, this has to be perfect. This has to be perfect." I can't just run it through, like, an AI editing thing. Like, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah. Oh
Get
gosh.
it,
Don't
but
even get me started.
I
Oh man.
so yeah, I feel like I treat the post editing, it's again like my art. Like I'll
Mhm.
adjust these tiny little highlights here, a little bit of color here, and then I'm like, okay, when that's perfect, now we can move on. So it's
Mhm.
kind of like that.
Do you have a consistent editing workflow, or does it vary per project, would you say?
Mine's pretty consistent. It never used to be, but I've gotten a lot better with that. Like I'm my own worst enemy with procrastination. So now I actually have to have a task list, and I have to get things on that list done that day, or I cannot go
Mhm.
to bed.
Mhm.
So, like with my workflow, I'll have, oh, this gallery I need to finish today. So I'll sit there until it's done. Like I'll get up and make coffee or answer some emails, but my workflow has to be finished or
Yeah.
I'm going to keep repeating that pattern over and over again. So it
Yeah.
could take me hours. Like I'll sit here sometimes for a long time, but it works for me. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the nice thing about working for yourself too, is that you learn how you work and, like, your
yeah.
process, and you could it can take time, but,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's hopeful the goal is then to, like, create systems that just work
Oh,
for
yeah.
you.
Well, that's the biggest thing too, because I never used to have systems. And now I have to have my task list or I'm lost. Like,
Same.
I think it's ADHD or something. I'll, like, "What's around here? Do this." I'm like, "No, you need to sit down and actually tackle these
You're like,
things." So,
"Focus, stay
yeah,
focused."
it's
Yeah.
hard, but
I
it's
think, it's
keep
like a
repeating.
story for creatives,
Yeah,
like, where they have so many tabs open in their brain, and they're
yeah.
like, "I just need
Yep.
to just do the task." Get it
Just
done.
start with one and finish it. That's the
Definitely.
hardest thing to do, I feel like.
Definitely. What tools or software do you swear by that you're like, this is for my editing and this is what I love and it's tried and true?
Yeah, for editing, Lightroom, randomly I'll use Photoshop for if I have to do some bigger edits. But yeah, that's all I use. For a little bit of video and like social media stuff, probably just CapCut and Canva, but I rarely use those either. I'm trying to get better at marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly that's my thing. And then I got just downloaded an app. It's called Todoist. It's a task app. I'm trying to make sure I have the name right. It's Todoist. It's fantastic. I put my tasks in there and just complete them every day. It feels so good when I got them all done. So that's
Oh
another
gosh.
yes. It makes this little noise. It makes me happy. And I'm like, all right, it keeps me in line. So I'd say
Mhm.
those things like task management and my editing software, and I'm good to go. Very bare bones.
I love that. Keep it simple. Keep it
Yes,
simple, Rachel. Keep it
it
simple, Sarah.
works.
I'm curious about the real journey, the successes, the failures, the lessons of being a photographer and because this is how we grow, right? It's I would love to say that yeah, start a photography business or start a creative design studio and it will just be only wins all day
I think
long.
that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah, you think you would you would think. What's one of the biggest challenges that you've faced in your photography journey?
There's a lot of those. I think the biggest one, though, is the not giving up part,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you understand with what you guys are doing. It's like a roller coaster. You'll have a few really good months, and then there's some months, not one client.
Mm,
And half the time it's like, "Why am I doing this? Am
yeah,
I just
yeah.
stubborn?" But I think for me, that's the hardest part is that inconsistency, and I think it just turns into it's like a battle. It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna find a way to pivot here, or I can just give up."
Mm,
And that's been, like, my biggest step in my growth. Like, I'm not that successful by any means. Like, I have great months, I have bad months, but I think it's in those bad months that like, that's where you find your courage and your
mhm,
discipline to keep going.
mm,
And I've never had that before. Only in the last 5 years have I seen that grown. And a lot of it's to do with God too. Like, I
yeah,
have a really good relationship with God now that I didn't have before. I
yeah,
mean, we all still struggle a little, but for me, it's like I need to learn to just let go.
mhm,
I don't need to control everything, and I know that's what keeps me going during the
mhm,
hard parts. And during the good parts, like, you still need to rely on God and keep it going when things are good, or else you'll fall back a little bit.
mhm. Oh, that's
Um,
so good. Yeah, like, just the it's a up and down journey, and
yeah.
it never stops, like, it feels like there's always work, not just physical work, but, like, inner
Yes.
work that's happening too, and there's a lot of self-responsibility that has to happen in order to do entrepreneurship.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it's like you can't really blame anyone. It's like, "Okay, like, I'm the
All on
chokehold."
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the chokehold of my business, and it's definitely a roller coaster, and, like, can feel like entrepreneurship in my mind can feel like it's a tightrope of bravery and stupidity.
Yeah, that is so true.
You're just like, "Why am I doing this
Yeah.
sometimes?" And then you have these beautiful wins, and, I love that you brought up God because that's a big part of it's the part of, our success with Stump and Root is like I don't know how people don't how people do business
Yeah.
without God,
That's
personally.
I'd be terrified.
Yeah. Definitely. It's just
Oh,
it's so, scary and,
yeah.
I commend you for not giving up and
Are
for
you doing
seeing a
that?
way through. Yeah, because like, your success rate for getting through those bad days is 100%. Like, you're here. You've made it,
I
and
figured it out.
you made it out, and Yeah, I commend you for that, and I understand the struggle, because it can be like,
Yeah.
"Wait, why am I doing this? And should I just quit? Maybe it'd be easier to get a,
It
job."
would
But
be.
yeah, but
No, thank you.
I think that there's so many lessons too in the low points.
Yes,
If anything, we actually learn more in our failures than we learn in our wins, and
very true.
which brings me to my next question. Have you ever had a shoot that didn't go as planned, and what did you learn?
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think of one in particular. I mean, for the most part, they've been pretty good.
Mhm,
There's been we had a creative shoot, couple of years ago, 2023 maybe? It was with my friend Helen, a bunch of other photographers and models.
mhm.
We had it in Annapolis, Maryland. So we were driving for a while from Lancaster, picked my friend Krista up, who's another photographer. That whole shoot did not go to plan whatsoever. It was a disaster from the start, but I'm not just listen. So we get to we're supposed to shoot on the beach and do like this whole beach themed, it was almost like a it's hard to describe, but it is on my page. It was for like a Christmas themed shoot, but more like light and dark vibes, stuff like that. So we get to the beach, it starts pouring rain. I was like, great, this is great. It was freezing, pouring rain. And then the beach with the park that we went to closed because we were waiting for the other models to arrive and they were late. So that was closed. We had nowhere to go to do this shoot. So we drove again, found this random beach on our maps, so we got there, and it was a private one, like, no trespassing, we weren't allowed on it. Keep in mind, it was almost pitch black out at this point, we saw the little bit of lights, we're like, "Let's just do it." So we parked at this wedding venue that had a wedding going on, which was a blessing in disguise because it distracted, them from seeing us down there. It was cold, raining, I don't know how we pulled it off, but we managed to do our whole shoot on the beach. We had no lighting whatsoever. It was dark. I didn't bring a flash, nothing. We were using our, cell phone flashlights
Oh my
for
gosh.
lighting. So if you go and scroll on my Instagram, you'll see them. You can't tell it was lit like that. It was honestly probably some of my best work ever.
Really? Wow.
Considering the circumstances, like, I couldn't have done that without everyone involved, like, we all just came together and made it happen, and the
Mhm.
photos are stunning, like, I love them. I usually like to pick apart my shoots, I'm like, "Oh, I hated this, hated that," but that one came out the best, and I think
Really?
it shows, like, you gotta struggle to get to that point of, like, beauty and, like, creating something amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
That's
that's a
beautiful.
disaster, and then it wasn't.
Yeah, that's inspiring. It's like everything's falling apart, and
Oh,
yet
it was I felt like crying, like, we were to the point where I was like a drowned rat. I don't know I still don't know how we did it. We just everyone pulled together and made it
mm,
happen, so
that's beautiful. Yeah, it's so much of art too is collaborative, and
yeah,
I've always said, like, I don't believe that anyone is self-made. Like, when someone's like, "I'm a
exactly.
self-made millionaire, I'm a self-made solopreneur," I'm like, "No, you're not." Like, at
No,
some
you
point
had help.
yeah, at some point, someone helped you, and
Exactly.
so that sounds like even though it was a hard moment, it was a proud moment
It
too
was, and
for you as a
it
photographer.
made me realize that, like, you're not alone in anything you do, like, there's
Mhm.
always people like, there's good people out there. I know I struggle to think like that sometimes, but
Yeah.
just lately I've been realizing there's people there who will lift you up. And then when it's your turn to lift someone up, like, do the same for them or someone else. And
Mhm.
like, we're not isolated. We're humans. Like, we need that connection. And even for shoots like that, it's amazing. Like, what can happen where people actually come together and create.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, I leads me into, like, my next question of, like,
Yeah.
actually building a photography business and just, like, the probably the collaboration or
Mhm.
the inspiration that had to happen,
Yeah.
and I wanted to know, like, when did you decide to turn photography into a
Yeah.
business? Graduate from hobby photographer to, "I'm gonna start a business."
Whew, that happened a while ago. Like, I turned it into a business probably after, like, my fifth wedding maybe. Because I would have friends ask for wedding photography, which fine. I was young. I was like, yeah, I'll do it for like $300. We've all been there.
Yes.
But I really started enjoying it. And I was like, hey, on top of like going to college, my other job, I was like, I'm gonna do this on the side too. So I made a website. I wish I still had my old website. It was funny. But
Classic.
that's I started maybe 10 years ago. I just never launched it. Like it was still an on the side business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I think doing it full time happened right around COVID. 'Cause I honestly just had enough of working for others. I love to work. It's not that. It's mostly every time I go to work for a creative agency or something like that, like I'm put in such a tiny box. Like I can't
Yeah.
create. And I understand that to a point. Like you have to fulfill clients' visions and everything else, but I've just been so burned. So around that time I got laid off from COVID from my jobs. I was like, we're not doing this anymore. I'm working for myself.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of that's just me being stubborn. But that's when I really launched all of that, like full time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't look back. I mean, it's been hard. I've wanted to stop many times.
Yeah.
But I think it's just that constant, hey, you have to get up and do this. Like no one else is gonna pay your bills for you. Like I mean, I've had help along the way, which is fantastic, but I'd say like full time, that's when it started. So it's been almost 6 years, I guess.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
How did you find, like, clients? Because I know someone's gonna be listening
Yeah.
and they're like, "Wait, if she has a business, then that means at some point she had to find clients.
Yeah.
How do I find clients?"
Most of them, believe it or not, have been word of mouth. It's
Yeah.
just making those connections. Everyone thinks, "Oh, I'm gonna get all my clients through Instagram." Like, no, you're not. I
Yeah.
do get some through there, like a nice amount.
Mhm.
But most of it is their referrals, or I've done someone's wedding or engagement or creative portraits. They talk. It's like, "Hey, I really liked your work. I'm gonna pass this along to somebody else and show them your page." Like I'll say the majority come from that. So probably the most important thing for photographers to do is just make those connections. And even
Definitely.
I hate to say this, but sometimes you have to give out a free shoot here and there to get yourself established and make those connections.
I was just
Like
about
I've
to say
done.
that.
Yeah, like I've done it a lot and that's okay. Like I think it's a good thing.
Like, yeah, I've known some photographers over the years, and they're like, "How do I build my client
Yeah.
portfolio?" And I'm like, you need to just offer some free sessions, even if it's just
Yeah,
headshots or
exactly.
whatever, and that person will be grateful because they didn't have
Yeah.
to pay, and then all you're asking for in return
Yeah.
is a review and a word of mouth referral,
A
and
share. Yep.
mhm,
It
definitely. How would you say that you handle the business side of things, like the marketing, the contracts,
that's a
the
struggle.
pricing?
That's a struggle. I mean, I do it. I have my software through Pixie Set. They also do like a studio management
Oh,
software.
yeah, yeah.
So that's like my photo sharing and like business management stuff. So I have all of my contracts, invoices in one location, which is so easy. Like if
Mhm.
you're a photographer, even just starting out, like download it, pay for it, and use it. It has saved me so many times. But that stuff I like to get done. So I don't like to leave contracts waiting. I don't like to leave invoices waiting. Like I usually send a formal email, and then once they book, they get all the paperwork, which they can do
Mhm.
online. So that's been nice. The other stuff, like marketing, I struggle with. I've been trying to do a little better. Like even just posting to make like you want your clients to know you're
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
So just try, even if it's your most recent work, try and do a post a week, if
Mhm.
that. Like I'm not the best with it, but lately I've been trying to ramp it up a little.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one of my weak points, though, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and I've known so many people who just struggle with that with any
Yeah.
industry, but I would say for anyone listening, because like, I'm a marketer, and so I'm like, "Well, how could I give
Good.
value in this moment to anyone who's like, wait, how do I market my photography business?" Like, if it were me, if
Yeah.
I was had my little camera and was doing shoots, I would there's two main pieces of
Yeah.
content that I would get. I would document myself at these shoots, and because then I'm not having to create anything. I'm just
Yeah.
documenting the process of
There's
it.
already, like, an art
It's
in
already happening. Yeah, and so I would consistently post that, but then on the other side, I would show
like
off my specific style and
like
editing and what makes me unique. So, like, for example, I would show, like, my best work, and I'd be like, "Oh, you hired me for, like, a moody photo
yeah.
shoot for your wedding," and then it just shows, like, that of all the
Oh,
different photos and everything, and showed, like, my range and everything, and do that for, like, 30 days, like just one post per day,
push
oscillate
it.
it even just between
Yeah.
those 2 different things, I would almost guarantee that people would find you at
Yeah.
not just you, but like anyone at
Oh,
some
yeah.
point and be like, "Okay, I need to hire her or I need to hire him." And then what's nice is then later on, people are now paying you to come out and they're like, "Hey, we're in California. We know that you're on the East Coast, but we'll literally pay you to come to,
Thanks
California."
too. Like, I mean, I haven't gotten that yet, but I have like, I'm doing a wedding in Baltimore next year. Like, I kinda stay on the East Coast for now, but I would love
Yeah,
and that's, like, a really good point with the marketing. Like, if people see you working, like, just say video clips of your process, like, at shoots, and then they see your work, like, it looks like you actually care.
right.
I think that's
Yeah.
the hardest part. Like, I think I have my work, but actually videoing myself is what I struggle with, and I need to just do it.
Yeah.
To your point, like, people shouldn't be afraid of putting themselves out there. Like, you deserve to exist.
Mhm.
You have the audacity too, so do it, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. There's this quote, Tim and I have talked about it so many times, and I mean, I've heard different versions of it, but there's someone out there who believes in their mediocrity more than you believe in your excellence.
Yes.
And like sometimes even just in the realm of like photographers, and this is not to shame anyone, by the way. Like,
No,
please
no.
don't think I'm condemning anyone, but sometimes I'll see people's photography videos and I'm like, and they'll see their price points and I'm like,
I know.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Wow, wow." But I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah.
if people like their style, then who am I to say that, like, it's not good or whatever?" But then I'll see other people who have incredible talent
Yeah.
and so much potential, God-given uh,
Yes.
gifts too, and I'm like, why aren't they as successful?" And I honestly think the difference is that that
Yeah.
person is just not putting themselves out there,
That's
and, like,
exactly what it is. Yeah.
yeah, and I've struggled with that too. It's not condemnation. I definitely
No,
sometimes I'm
I
like, "Okay, Sarah,
see.
just put it out there. Just make a video, just post or whatever."
Don't
But
overthink it, but
yeah,
it's
and
easier
so
said than done.
yeah, definitely easier said than done. So this is a lesson for everyone on this call
Yes.
and for everyone listening. Post your content and document your process because 'cause you're
Yeah.
doing it anyway.
You're
You're
doing
doing
yes. Well, I think
so
people need to get out of I mean, this is for me too. I get so insecure, like, with myself, my work. I mean, sometimes you have to just fake it for a while until you
Mhm,
actually have the confidence to do that. Like, even lately, I was like, something keeps telling me, "Hey, post more of your process, post yourself a little bit." Doesn't have to
mhm,
be any type of thing, but if it's something like, "Hey, this is what I did during a shoot," like, people would love to see that. And
yeah,
it's, again, it's not just about you, it's about, like, what you bring to others
yeah,
too. So I think there's a huge difference between, like, ego and actually, like, filming yourself for ego
mhm,
or to bring value to something. So that's
mhm.
been a struggle. I'm like, "Oh, I don't wanna look like a narcissist. I don't wanna keep posting myself." But we have to get out of our heads. Like, we deserve to exist and take up space at the end of the day.
Definitely. There's this story, she's not a photographer, but, her name is Brooke, and I mentioned it on a previous podcast episode, but her story is just so inspiring to me. She has a
Mm.
bakery, a cookie company in
Oh, cool.
Australia called Brookie,
Rookie.
and so it's a play on of her name, which I thought was cute, but I found her, like, 13 years ago when she was
Wow.
a travel blogger, and in her
Good.
travel blogging days, she would always stop at a bakery and, like, just document herself eating through her travels, little
Cool.
sweets. And, one day I was like, "I wonder what that girl Brooke is up to," because like, I was, like, her biggest little fan on
So
Instagram, and then I was like, "Oh my gosh," like, she did it. She started a bakery because she
Wow.
always talked about that. But how she did it was really interesting because when she first opened, she thought just like every business owner, they're like, "Build it and they will come." Well, she
Oh,
opens her doors and no one
no
came.
one showed up.
No cookies sold, nothing. And she was like, "Oh, no." And so she was like, "Well, let me just make little silly TikTok videos and document what I'm
Mhm.
doing." And I'm making it anyway. And so she would just post and film herself making these little videos.
Being off.
Eventually, people started finding her through organic
Wow.
TikTok videos, just showing her process. Like she's not even showing like people eating it.
That
It's
is
just
so
her.
cool.
Yeah, just of her, like, making the cookies, and she now has lines out the door, she's, like, expanded to other locations, like, she
Be
became,
very
like, a multimillionaire, and now she has a cookbook, and it all just came from documenting, and I always think about that, I'm like, imagine if she wasn't bored that day
yes,
and
exactly.
decided not to post a silly little video, and it wasn't just, like, she posted one and it went viral, she
Yeah,
posted a lot,
you just
but
kept going with it.
yeah, and so I think about that and, like, just encourage you, but also anyone who
Everyone
is like, "Oh, I don't know," or "I'm afraid." It's like, I think there's so much success and connections that you can make on the
exactly.
other side of just posting consistently and making videos, and also, like, are her cookies the best cookies? I don't know, like, maybe, maybe not, but, nobody can say then that they don't know her too, because
Exactly.
so many people, like, they'll actually work with you and choose you over
Yes.
someone else if it means that they have, like, a connection to you.
Yeah.
Like, I'll see that with photographer like, your competitors might be better than you
Yeah.
technically, but they will choose you because they're like, "I don't know what it is about Rachel, but there's just
Yeah.
I really like her, I like her vibe, I like her story," but they don't know your story until
No,
you share it.
exactly. Which is
So you
cool
gotta
though.
share your
Sometimes I'll
story.
get those people like that. And it's like, oh, I'd rather work with you because you make me feel comfortable, which is
Mm,
another huge one. Like I want people to feel okay. Like no one likes being on camera. Nobody. So if we
yeah.
can like remove that aspect, like that's what I want. I want people to feel good.
Definitely. I definitely have felt that too, just when you've done shoots with my
It's
family and
hard.
stuff, and I'm like, "You're always just kind and complimentary," and I'm like, "Oh, she's
Thank
easy
you.
to shoot with," 'cause
Thank you.
it's also the job of the photographer, like, some
Yes.
people are very uncomfortable on camera.
Yes.
They just freeze up and they're like, "I don't like getting my picture taken," and then
Of
a good
course.
photographer will talk them through it and kinda
Yeah.
just let them let loose, and then all of a sudden, you would think that they're natural in front of the camera.
That's how a lot of my clients are, like, they'll be pretty tense at first, I'm like, "No, like, what kind of music do you like? We'll put that on, like, you're not weird, don't feel weird, like, just be yourself, and it's
Mhm,
okay." Like, I try not to judge anyone, like, I get it,
mhm.
I am horrible in front of a camera, unless I'm taking my own pictures.
Right.
I
You're like, "I'll do this."
completely get it, I really do, but it's just if you have that space for people to be themselves and realize, like, I'm not gonna judge you. Like, you can be
Mhm.
weird, you can do weird posing, like, just be you. Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah. So before we wrap this up, I'd love to know if you could go back and tell young Rachel who wants to be a photographer one piece of advice, what would you tell her?
Like, I have a lot of advice, but I think it would be just don't give up. You're not a failure because you experience failures, and I think that's been the biggest one. It's so easy to get in our heads when we fail. But failing's what gets you to success at the end of the day. Like, you're not gonna be successful if you don't fail. Like, yeah, I've hit rock bottom multiple times and recently too, and that's okay. It's all helping me learn where to turn and like which path to go down. So it's a struggle, but lately I'm very grateful for my failures because it does point out those areas that I need to work on. So that would be the advice. Like, don't get in your head, don't get down on yourself too much. Like, feel the feelings and move on. Like, you're stronger than that and you're better than that. Just pick yourself up and do it better next time. So
Beautiful.
that's, yeah.
Beautiful. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so mostly my website needs to be updated a little, but the website's obscurastudios.co. I feel like people think it's .com, but it's .co, which I should probably change that.
Ours is .co too.
Really? Everyone struggles. I'm like, no, it's not com, it's co. And then on Instagram, it's just Obscura Studios. So yeah, you can find me. I'm mostly active on Instagram and my website. Those are my two main spots.
Yeah, anyone listening, hire Rachel. I highly recommend her. Rachel, thank you so much for doing this. This was so fun. I learned a lot. And even though I'm not a photographer, it was just encouraging to hear your story and just that you never gave up.
Yeah, I'm stubborn. I don't know if that's good, but
I think it's a good thing. Thank you again. And everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, have a good day.
Thank you.